हेलो दोस्तों, वेलकम बैक टू द चैनल। ज्योग्राफी, इकोनॉमिक्स और पॉलिटिकल साइंस के बाद अब मैं वीडियो लेके आ चुका हूँ हिस्ट्री के लिए। बाकी सब्जेक्ट्स में तो मेरी वीडियो से मोर देन 90% क्वेश्चंस आए थे और अब बारी है हिस्ट्री की, तो चलिए शुरू करते हैं। देयर आर इंडिकेटर्स ऑफ कॉम्प्लेक्स डिसीजन बीइंग टेकन एंड इम्प्लीमेंटेड इन द हड़प्पन सोसाइटी। इन द लाइट ऑफ दिस स्टेटमेंट, एक्सप्लेन वेदर देयर हैव बीन रूलर्स टू रूल ओवर द हड़प्पन सोसाइटी। One of the most distinctive feature of the Harappan cities was the carefully planned drainage system. Elaborate. Critically examine the limitations of the inscriptional evidences in the understanding of political and economic history of India. Between the 6th and 4th century BCE, Magadha became the most powerful Mahajanpada. Explain the statement with example. Critically examine the duties as laid down in the Manusmriti for the Chandals. The Dharma Sutras and Dharma Shastras also contained rules about the ideal occupations of the four categories of Varnas. Critically examine the statement. What do you think about the language and the content of Mahabharata? Explain. The mid first millennium BC is often regarded as the major turning point in world history. Justify. The principle of ahimsa and renunciation emphasized by Jainism has left its mark. Support the statement with Lord Mahavira's message. State the inherent problem faced by Al-Biruni in the task of understanding Indian social and Brahminical practices. Mention any two sources that provided him the support. India had a unique statement of communication during the 14th century. Examine the statement of Ibn Battuta. Sufism evolved as a reaction to the growing materialism of the Caliphate as a religious and political institution. Elucidate. The Lingayas challenged the idea of caste and the pollution attributed to a certain group of Brahmanas. Critically examine the statement. Highlight the contribution of Krishnadeva Raya in the expansion of Vijayanagara Empire. Explain any three features of the water resources of the Vijayanagara Empire. Analyze the main features of Amarnaika system which was introduced in Vijayanagara. Examine the status and the role played by women in the agrarian society during the Mughal period. Describe the life led by the forest dwellers during the Mughal era in 16th and 17th centuries. Explain how the East India Company subdued the authority of zamindars in Bengal during 18th century. Examine the provision of subsidiary alliance system devised by Lord Wellesley in 1798 for India. Rumors and prophecy played a part in moving the people into action during the revolt of 1857. Explain. Wherever Gandhiji went, rumors spread of miraculous powers. Explain with example. Why is objective resolution of Nehru considered as momentous restoration? Give three reasons. Why did Anjiranga felt that the minorities should be interpreted in economic terms? Give reasons. What was the limitation law? Why was this considered as symbol of oppression against the riots of 19th century? Give three reasons. What are the evidences found by archaeologists which shows that the Harappan had contacts with distinct lands? Thus, it shows that the contact proved to have good trade relation with each other. How did architectural feature of Mohenjo-daro indicated planning? Support this statement with examples. Explain any four sources to reconstruct the history of Mauryans. Examine the system of Mauryan administration. Describe the economic and social condition of people living in rural areas from 600 BCE to 600 CE. Describe the contribution of V.S. Suptankar in reconstructing social history through critical edition of Mahabharata. Describe the Brahmanical theory regarding kingship and the ideal occupation of the Varna order. Give example to prove that this theory was not universally followed. Sanchi Stupa had magnificent architectural and structural features. Explain the statement with example. Explain how Sanchi Stupa stands testimony to successful conservation policy taken in the 19th century. Why did this not happen in the case of Stupa at Amravati? Explain. Ibn Battuta found Delhi as a city full of exciting opportunities. Support the statement with evidence given by him. Describe Bernier's description of land ownership in India and also describes its influence on Western theorists from 18th century onward. Identify the relationship between the Sufis and the state from 8th century to 18th century. Identify the relationship of the Alvars and Nayars of Tamil Nadu with the state from 8th to 18th century. Identify the rituals and practices associated with the Mahanavi Dibba, a structure of the royal center of Vijayanagar Empire. Outline the distinctive features of the Virupaksha temple and Vittal temple in the sacred center of Vijayanagar Empire. The fortification walls was not only encircled the city of Vijayanagara but also its agriculture hinterland and forest. In the light of the statement, explain the significance of fortification. Explain the role of Panchayat as the main constituent of Mughal village community. Explain the role of zamindars during 16th and 17th centuries in India. In spite of the limitations, the Ain-e-Akbari remains an extraordinary document of its time. Explain the statement. The fifth report of 1813 became the basis of intense parliament debates on the nature of the East India Company rule in India. Justify the statement with evidence. The battle between the Ho and Plo was long one. Substantiate the statement with reference to the Santals and Paharias of Rajmahal Hills during 18th century. Why was the revolt particularly widespread in Awadh? What promoted the peasants, talukdars and zamindars to join the revolt? Explain the visual representation of the revolt of 1857 that provoked a range of different emotions and reactions. Describe the circumstances that led to the initiation of non-cooperation movement by Gandhiji. Explain the significance of this movement. The Salt Satyagraha was one of the most successful campaigns in Gandhiji's non-violent struggle against Britishers. Analyze the statement. Quit India movement became the mass movement. Support the statement. Describe the role of Gandhiji in Indian freedom struggle from 1922 to 1931. Examine the different kind of sources from which political career of Gandhiji and history of Indian national movement could be reconstructed. One of the topics most vigorously debated in the Constituent Assembly was the respective rights of the central government and state. Support the statement with suitable evidences. Within the Constituent Assembly of India, the language issue was intensely debated. Examine the views put forward by members of the Assembly on this issue. Different groups expressed their desires in different ways and made different demands. Support the statement with reference to the problem of separate electorate. दोस्तों इन क्वेश्चंस को अच्छे से प्रिपेयर कर लेना और एग्जाम में अपनी प्रेजेंटेशन बढ़िया रखना. यू विल डेफिनेटली गेट गुड मार्क्स. तो दोस्तों इन क्वेश्चन से 90% पेपर आएगा. क्वेश्चन की लैंग्वेज चेंज हो सकती है पर पूछा यही जाएगा. तो आप इन क्वेश्चंस को अच्छे से प्रिपेयर कर लेना. बाकी अगर आप में से किसी को भी इन क्वेश्चन की पीडीएफ चाहिए या फिर इन क्वेश्चंस के आंसर की पीडीएफ चाहिए तो डिस्क्रिप्शन बॉक्स में दिए गए नंबर पर व्हाट्सअप करें. अगर आपको ये वीडियो हेल्पफुल लगी हो तो वीडियो को लाइक करें, अपने दोस्तों के साथ शेयर करें और चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करें. थैंक यू.